Hey gang, it is the middle of April 2020. We are all still sheltering in place at our homes, but real estate is still happening. Buyers and sellers are still out there. It just logically, and of course, there are fewer buyers and sellers than normal this time of year, but it makes sense. It's okay. And all the real estate gurus and economists I follow say that they are expecting us to have a really strong second half of the year based on the current information we have about oil and gas and about COVID-19. So if you're planning to sell and you are continuing to head in that direction and you're preparing, here's a question for you that I get asked all the time. Natalie, do I need granite countertops in my kitchen? And so the answer is not cut and dry. Otherwise, I wouldn't need to make a video. First, do your neighbors have granite countertops? Is your neighborhood a neighborhood where everybody has granite countertops and it's an expectation that you should have granite countertops? If the answer is yes, then if you can afford it, you have the money, then yes, consider changing out the countertops yourself. Many people ask, why can't I just do an allowance and give the buyer some money to do it? There's a couple of reasons. One, buyers typically, not you, but typically buyers lack imagination and they can't imagine it with the beautiful upgraded countertops. And so they think your house is worth less. Also, it is really common these days for any buyer who is going to actually have financing for them to also ask you to pay their closing costs. So if you're already paying their closing costs, you'll be limited on how much you can give them towards counters. And then also, buyers will pay you less for your house if they have to do the counters themselves. A buyer would rather pay you more for your house if you have already done the work than if they have to do it themselves. Even if it's a simple thing of setting up the appointment and having them come and be installed. If you have to pay $4,000 to have your countertops replaced, they're going to offer you $8,000 to $10,000 less on your house because they have to do it instead. So if you can financially pull it off and do it, you will make more money on the sale of your house if you can do it yourself and have it done before you put the house on the market. Okay, next question. Do you have deferred maintenance? Are your appliances from 1985? Is your carpet old and stinky? Do you have cracks in the walls? Do you have popcorn ceilings? Do you have pink rooms and yellow rooms and blue rooms and green rooms? Do you have scratched up woodwork? All of those things are more important than putting granite countertops in. I have seen so many houses where they just put lipstick on the pig by slapping some paint on the walls, doing a sloppy job, and then putting on these gorgeous countertops. Well, the buyer is not a dummy. The buyer can see that half the electricity doesn't work and that there's a dripping faucet. They don't want to move into a money pit just because it has pretty countertops. So do the important things first. Scrape and have your ceiling scraped and painted. Have the walls painted a neutral color. Do all the maintenance on the outside. Seal the cracks. Caulk what needs to be caulked. Fix what needs to be fixed. Get a handyman or do it yourself. But do those things first. Give your buyer a nice, clean palette to work with. And if you can't afford to do the countertops, then don't do the countertops. It's more important to do all those other little things first. And then if you have the money left over and you want to do the countertops, then yes, that is an added bonus. Let's see, next. Okay, so maybe you've decided you're going to go ahead and do it. Here's a few tips. If your house is, say, under $200,000 and you're going to go do it, know that you can get a granite in Oklahoma, a nice one, a popular one, between $25 to $30 a foot installed. So when you go in, don't go all crazy over the one that's $50 a foot. that would be a waste of your money. There are perfectly good granites, 25 to 30 a foot. Quartz is also a doable thing. So, but whatever your price range, go into the store, tell the people, I'm selling my house. My house is worth about this much money. What are the most popular counters that your builders and your home remodelers are using? And then pick one of those. Take samples and go home and see which one looks best in your kitchen. It's not the time to be creative or show your personal style. It's time to think of your house as a product, and you want to put in the same thing that the other people are putting in. Consumers like what they see over and over and over again. So pick the most popular product, and that's what you install. This is not the time to be cheapo and cut corners. Do not do granite tiles. Do not do that like small thing that they stick over your present countertops. That looks terrible and everybody knows it. So if you're going to do it right. For more questions, you can contact me anytime in the information below. And then stick around, and next week, on next Friday, we're going to talk about carpets. It seems like it wouldn't be a big deal, but it is. So tune in next Friday to talk about carpet.